as well as Tidehunter, those three, the way they work together, you're able to play very defensively, get a blink Tide, sit back, and then just wait and just say, okay, I'm gonna wait for you to relocate in. You just watch, you continue to farm, you continue to do your own thing, and say Tiny and I are out farming a lane or whatever, ready to come to a fight. They relocate into the back of a fight, hit an avalanche, and that 1 second is all it takes to set up a perfect Ravage. And those three heroes never really lose that synergy. That's not a combination that ever gets bad at any point in the game just because of how they work. But on the side of Polar, I like that they have drafted a much more well-rounded lineup in terms of having punching power at all phases of the game. You're going to have very strong roam out of Lil on the Witch Doctor, FNG on the Ogre Magi. Going to have solid mid-game with the TA and the Razor. And, of course, Void can go late and can be an absolute beast in that regard as well. So a much better put-together composition, in my opinion, this time.
Yeah, craggy exterior is going to be kind of annoying for the TA and the Void in particular. Razor's not going to really have too much of a problem with it, but potentially could if you're walking up really closely with auto attacks, as most good players do. Like what most good players will do is once you suck that damage, or just on any hero in general, you try to attack walk and get as close to the target as possible, just because even with ranged heroes, just because your projectile gets there faster, you're essentially attacking quicker and getting more damage done. So that could be a big nuisance, but the biggest problem is for Void. So if he gets procced with craggy exterior, it could be annoying. Could be some action up here in the top rune.
Yep, there's going to be a cast. Does manage to get the proc, but moving a little too quickly is always one to fly. And for them to track him down, they do end up grabbing the bounty rune on the Witch Doctor. At bottom, it's a regen, so basically a dead rune. But, there's going to be a lot of things coming in with the newest patch that was just announced. And that's one of them, the fact that the level 0, or I guess time 0 runes are going to be both bounty, that are a little bit more valuable this time around. And I was just thinking that as well, the fact that what we're likely to see this game, the synergy between Mag on the Void and the Witch Doctor, his ulti, since it is a ward classified kind of a thing, you can't drop that into Chronosphere and stuff. How do you feel as we watch the laning phase take place, and certainly we'll focus on this match, but how do you feel about the new patch, just in a sentence or two?
I love it, actually.
Yeah, I do too.
Like, I was not a fan of the last patch, or the last big one, the Rekindling Flame, Rekindling Fire,
Rekindling the Soul, I think.
Yeah, there you go. I was actually kind of disappointed with that patch in general, but and I haven't thoroughly read all the notes for this new one upcoming. Actually, hold that thought. I see Pink up top.
Yep, we're gonna have Always on the Fly, caught from behind. That's a lot of damage being sapped by Uld, and they got him. That's first blood.
More
oh no, he actually stutter-stepped it. He stutter-stepped his auto attack. He had him. He had plenty of damage by that point to have cleaned him up, and that's a big missed opportunity there for VP.
He had boots too.
Yeah.
But luckily for Skywrath, getting these movement speed buffs in the last couple patches.
Yeah, no joke.
I think he was like 350 movement speed, or a little less than 325, but he is very fast, one of the fastest supports. But yeah, that should have been a kill, I agree. But I haven't thoroughly read all the patch notes for 6.83, but the ones I just kind of glimpsed over it, and I really like it. Like this, especially the rune change, one of the first changes that they talk about. Like, I can't tell you enough how many times level 1 runes, I don't care who you are or what you say, so many times level 1 runes can kind of totally skew a game. They really can.
Completely. Dude, I've been working in and around this scene, going back to pre-TI2 days. If there's one consistent complaint I've heard from almost every player, it's that level 1, oh geez, big toss on the Phobos. Resolution tossed him back. Are they going to be able to get him? Refraction just off cooldown. And, they still might get him. Resolution gonna dive him in with one big swing of the fist. First blood goes to Empire as they continue to roll with all of this momentum they've built over the last 36 hours or so. They were clean yesterday, went 2-0-2-0 over Tinker and Snaw. They win game 1 here, and now a great start to game 2.
God, and Wisp has a regen too, so now TA has to come back into this lane with full mana Wisp, full mana Tiny, and one interesting thing too is picking the TA into the Tiny specifically, just because Avalanche is thought to be quite good against the refraction. It bursts through most of those refraction charges right away.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, but anyway, just to finish the thought, especially mid players, but like going back all the way to, I'm talking way back when, to TI2 days is just the strength of a level 1 haste in particular. Haste is like, you would think it'd be DD, but the one I hear the most complained about is level 1 haste at the pro level. Up at the top, more damage being done. Can they catch him this time?
My dreams.
Got him. That time he didn't stutter step the auto attack. Lil makes it away with just about 100 HP, but that's going to be a 1-for-1 this time, so Polar are able to get themselves on the board.
Yeah, man, they're all bad. Like, haste is... Like, for instance, when we saw that level 1 exchange between the supports up at the top rune, you remember that? Like, if that was a haste, one of those heroes were easily going to die.
Yep.
Could have even died if there was a double damage as well, but for me, personally, I hate the invis rune. Like, that, as a mid player, if I see a support grabbing an invis rune, you basically have to sit back for, like, the first minute and a half, and you just lose mid lane.
Up, they're going to go on Phobos. Gonna go straight with the toss, and I'm surprised. I guess he didn't have anything to toss too. Last time when they got that kill on the TA, and actually Illidan going toe-to-toe with Always Want to Fly again, and they could be able to clean him up. And I feel like they're not respecting Illidan's Razor enough. This hero just does a ridiculous amount of damage. Will they get a good bounce? Nope. They got a good bounce there on the cast. They would have killed Silent as well, but not the case. And back in the lane now. Empire now trailing 2-1. I was going to say I like their lane choice, but the way they're playing this out is not working. Illidan is actually going to get caught from behind. One Arcane Bolt brings him very close. Lily, yeah, here we go. Lily will end up dying in the shadow of his own tier 1. And they're getting bossed around up here. They rotated FNG elsewhere, and with his absence, Empire just completely capitalized on it.
Yeah, it just shows you how much damage they're doing too, because they spread out their nukes on both heroes, and they still were able to easily take down the Witch Doctor. FNG is here, he's level 2, and he's throwing some nukes. Here comes Razor with the static link. The slow doesn't go on the Razor, so Razor's going to get the full amount of this damage.
Let's see if he's got the right thing. Very tanky Jakiro. Tough to track down in that regard. And, you know, that's another... This is really just a smart draft out of Polar in a lot of ways. Talked about, you know, the way most of these heroes work, but the Ignite with its slow helping out Razor. Excellent tool, especially here in the laning phase. So far, it's 2-2. We're coming up on 6 minutes in, but in terms of pure out-and-out efficiency, it is 100% a win for Empire. They're at almost 2,000 gold lead right now. The XP is a little bit closer than that. A lot of that has to do, though, with Yoki's performance down here. He's at 30, soon to be 38 CS, 37 for the moment on this Tidehunter, and he is bossing Mag around. He's more than doubling up his overall CS total, being able to bring down DK Phobos here in mid. Empire bossing around this as well, but you would expect that in a dual lane, especially one that innately favors the Tiny over the TA. What do you think, Polar? I mean, at what point does Polar begin to break things down a little bit? Like, the status quo ain't working.
Well, it looks like they want to right now, because Mag's rotating in and trying to get an ulti off. I think this is the right decision, because he cannot be in this lane against Tidehunter. This is a really awful lane for him. I talked yesterday how we saw a Tidehunter versus a melee matchup, and the only time Tidehunter really gets posed with any kind of problems is against like a Timber Saw. Sometimes Panda can do okay. Oh, actually up top I see Orange in a little bit of trouble. Silent probably going to fall here.
Yeah, easily. He is doing some fair damage, but Always Want to Fly, not about to rush 1-on-3 just to save his buddy. And there's going to be another toss on the DK Phobos. Avalanche to follow. Refraction is on cooldown, but TP is going to come in. And with no mana, I think Resolution makes the right decision there not to pursue out. He may think about going for a toss here soon. I don't know if he got eyes on Lil. If he didn't, they may decide to stay aggressive, but bottling, keeping both sides up.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Yep, they're going to go on Resolution now, though.
And we're going to have Illidan engaged at top as well. Resolution will be able to make it back to safety. Illidan not likely to be as fortunate. One more Arcane Bolt, and hell, they don't even need it. A couple of auto attacks will do. And I really like this build out of Silent, except for the Macro Pyre. I really am not a fan of Macro Pyre level 6. It's so mana demanding, and generally the utility of it at this stage of the game, just to me anyway, at my terrible trench level, and so take that with a grain of salt. Just seems to be not worth the investment in mana, as opposed to getting at least 1 point into Ice Path just as a disruptive ability. However, and also the second point, the Dual Breath. Dual Breath is kind of a 1-point wonder in a lot of ways. I mean, it scales, but not particularly well. What do you think the thought process behind that is?
Well, I know for sure why people go up another level in Dual Breath is because if you look at the scaling of the damage, it over the or more than doubles from level. Oh, actually, hold that thought. FNG putting some damage on the Silent. Silent getting his damage sucked out, and one more attack plus the nuke. And Elden gets a free and easy kill. It seems like rinks repeat up here in the top lane on both sides, but the damage goes from 16 to 36, so it more than doubles in level 1, but then after that it actually doesn't double anymore. Not even close.
That makes sense.
So it's actually a very good point at level 2. It's better than any other level 2. So people usually rush to level 2 on the dual breath. As far as the macro part is concerned, I understand why people take it like it's just a 1 point, it's just a new ability that you have, and I understand that Ice Path is going to be good. I think it's just one of those things where you evaluate where you are in the lane, and you decide based on what's going on at that time, which spell you want to get more. If it feels like you need to cancel a TP or something like that, then you'll level up the Ice Path, but I would say more times than not people get Macro Fire, and the mana issues aren't usually too cumbersome for this hero just because he has a very good innate base mana pool and HP pool.
Yeah.
And since Liquid Fire doesn't cost any mana, I think he's okay to get away with it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like he survives, for example, in that last little engagement. There's going to be the relocate boost for the first time. And that's going to be a kill onto the Razor. One would think. Macro Fire goes down, but it goes down late. There's going to be a Chrono that got 2, though. Mag coming in right on time. And Silent. There's a Ravage, though, from Yoki. Silent able to keep himself alive a little bit longer, still being pursued out by Mag. In the meantime, they're going to be able to track down 2 under the tower. Silent and Mag going toe-to-toe. Will he get him? They will, but he's going to end up trading himself. That's not worthy at all. 4 for 2. Polar gives up more ground to Empire. A nice rotation coming out of Polar, but just unable to put it together. Now they're re-engaging immediately onto Phobos, who has no mana, can't refract even if it wasn't off cooldown. But looks like Lil's going to be there to bail him out. Another TPN. These two teams, man, this is almost a replay of Game 1. Like, it was just kind of quiet, you know, a little back and forth. Then you get into about 10 to 20 minutes in. Like, between 10 and 25 minutes, tremendous number of kills occurred, and I don't think there's any reason to believe this game's going to be any different.
The Ruskis.
The Ruskis.
Yes, and yeah, using the relocate to its full effectiveness early on, right off the gate, and this Tidehunter, man, is so freaking farmed. I think that it was a really nice laning assignment from Empire.
Agreed.
They knew that Void was going to be in the off lane. They knew that they could get away with this dual lane off lane, and by get away, I don't really necessarily mean win, but they could contest a little bit and be annoying. Yoki blinks away right from the static link. Only 14 damage stolen there by Illidan. But it was a really nice laning here. Specifically just pitting this Tidehunter up against this melee hero in Void. Had not a chance to win that lane.
Up at top, Yoki engaged upon, doesn't have a Ravage, but always want to fly is there. Silenced out, and Loa came in. He couldn't have by himself. I think he did.
So, yeah.
I don't know if that was intentional or not. It's going to end up being a death one way or the other as Phobos makes his first appearance in this top lane. Yoki chased into the woods, and Empire going to lose 2 this time. One of which is a very high value kill for them. Tide did spend his gold on a Staff of Wizardry before dropping, so didn't lose much there in that regard, but still gives up a bit and certainly helps catch Phobos up a little bit, who for the most part has been struggling. I mean, he's in the middle of the pack, but 40 CS out of mid is at 12 minutes is not what you want on your Templar Assassin. And again, you know, in terms of late game, I actually give the edge to Empire, purely based on the strength of Tiny IO late game and assuming all things are equal with Tidehunter and a Refresher. But that's not to say that there isn't a lot of late game damage that VP can build out as well. I mean, we've seen Void be a beast. Razor, of course, is always a nuisance. And TA, I think, is overlooked for just how nasty she can be between 40 and 50 minutes in a lot of cases. So this is really where both teams need to do a lot of work to position themselves for that late game.
Yeah, I think TA can be very scary late game as well. Here comes the ulti. Actually, the ulti blinks into the Chronos for your Mag and goes to die. The one more auto attack.
They're going to get him. And Lil in the next to drop. They didn't even get Silent. Empire pouring it on an FNG. Caught from behind. A well-shot Ice Path. It was the swan song of the THD as he died behind it. But ends up hitting the Ice Path and securing a kill for Always Wanna Fly, who busted him with the... Oh, hang on, relocate Illidan. Gotta be careful. Can't be walking around with a quarter health and in full range whenever you've got a Tiny IO on the map. And yeah, this is actually, in my opinion, we'll check the graphs. This is, yeah, exactly what I expected. That sequence right there, is crippling for them. They lost so much so quick. They wasted a chrono, got nothing out of it. Yoki's still in great position. Yoki actually can buy his full force staff like now, basically. And he might have to as he's in some trouble. TP's coming in. Phobos playing. Wow.
Little story. Oh, I'll have to maybe hold that thought as it looks like we are ready. But, yep, Lil, you're probably going to die. I'll look bottom here. And yeah, that haste rune will help out poor DK Phobos. But Lil, not so lucky.
Yep, Phobos, as you said, makes it away with the haste. Lil ends up biffing it. And right now, Empire is looking strong. And they're continuing to pour it on. And the issue is, like, we're getting to the point, and it's not quite there yet. I mean, it's just the composition with a Void Eraser and a TA. That composition should be dominant. Oh, wow. Caught him from behind with the avalanche. There's the silence and the toss back. Cask of well spread. That's just beautiful play from Empire, actually. You know, it's not the hardest. They have no detection. Come on, guys. Oh, they're going to toss the tiny. Yeah, they can actually just anchor smash him to death. And one more. There you go. So wasting their time at best, but that was actually just beautifully done. The cast came out, one ran here, one ran here, one ran here, and they knew because of this one that they had TA hemmed in regardless, so they just finished him off. Dude, Empire has looked better in the last 36 hours than I've seen them look in probably a year.
Dire's bottom tower
I am going to say the same thing, man. Like, I remember them doing this before, though, at the
Radiant's top tower is under
I want to say
attack.
height of their career, so to speak. When I remember them being the strongest was, I want to say Star Ladder 8? Star Ladder 9? I think it was Star Ladder 9 when DK was there and they won it. And it was Empire who took second,
Dire's
and they
bottom
beat
tower is
EG
under
in this loser bracket finals.
Yeah.
And that's when they were, I think, the strongest. And they kind of fell off after that. But they're kind of looking like they were back then, and it's pretty impressive to see. I'm seeing little hints of inconsistencies in their play, but once they fix those, or once they don't have those things happen, they are looking quite good. So it's fun to watch.
Item development, a big deal right now for Empire, as Aloha has an urn, which is nice, certainly on an IO, but Silent has finished his Yules at sub 16 minutes, and more importantly, Resolution has Tread's Drum Scepter at 16 minutes in. He is way ahead to the point that he is more than 2K, basically half of a big item ahead of the closest on the side of Polar. I don't know, and just to revisit your point for a minute, I agree, like that is an iconic time, and we'll hold that thought for a minute. Silence Resolution's right there. They're going to blow up FNG. Here comes Chrono, though. And Silent. Another beautiful Ravage. Mag dies. They lose Silent, but it's irrelevant. Death Ward from Lil, though. And Resolution tries to get out. Can't make it. Yoki going toe-to-toe with the big bad doctor. He has to make a run for it as well. They end up going 3 for 2. That's about to be a 3 for 3. Unless they get Lil, and they will. Yoki's so tanky. So damn tanky. Has a blink in 1 second. He can blink. Blink. Why would you? Oh, I guess he just wants to heal. Hell with it. I was going to say you could just, there you go. Now he'll blink away. And that was actually very well managed as well. What looked like it was going to be a trade even. I mean, just more good reactions. This, and you certainly have more insight into this than I do, and pretty much anyone does. It's not of a pro gamer level. When I see play that's this tight and everything is going this well, and even when you're caught out, you're still able to turn what should be losses at least into break-evens and turn break-evens into wins, that indicates to me that it's a team that's completely on the same page. Their communication is spot on, and they're all really listening and all really functioning as a unit, as opposed to what you often see.
God, that was so easy.
Yeah, not even. But anyway, would you say that's the case, or am I just being a little melodramatic?
No, absolutely. And I think that the really good teams are the ones that play together enough to know when they should fight or flight. Like when, and they don't even have to say anything. So they just see a situation, even if it somewhat looks bad because your team's getting initiated on, they don't even have to say anything because they know that they have the tools and the capability to actually fight it. And I think being able to save those words and save your time for saying, should we fight, should we not? And like making a decision rather than just making it instinctive and everyone knows in your team, it saves you a lot of time and it actually makes a difference. And I don't know if that's the case, but I'm assuming it is because they're making quick decisions on this team of Empire.
You know, that is such good insight, man, because it's something that I've been saying it since way back in the day, and Lord knows I'm no expert now, but I feel like I know quite a bit more now compared to TI2. I even going back to those days, I used to use the phrase deliberate Dota. There's just, you know, you can just, a team feels deliberate in what they're doing. They feel very focused. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of downtime. It doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of scatter time. And it's like they every second that ticks off the clock is being used for improvements. And it makes so much sense when you phrased it the way you did. It's like, oh yeah, you know, you just play together. You're all on the same page to the point that you save those words. And in exchange, I would imagine you save, like you said, you save that time, and that time is then spent discussing things that matter. And that's what gives it that deliberate feel. You're not having to spend a whole lot of time discussing options or whatever. You're just all so on the same page that you react very quickly. One person says something that everyone else is already thinking, then it just happens. Does that sound accurate?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yep.
All right.
Smoke down your bottom with the Ravage up and ready to go. This guy has been on top of his Ravages at the perfect time.
Oh, this is what I was talking about. There's the relocate, the Ravage as well. And FNG dead as well. Beautiful toss. Did he just toss him into a Yules? I think he did. Like, unless, well, wow, he actually makes it away by some miracle. But, I don't know. Maybe that just looked weird because I was watching out of the corner of my eye. It looks like he got tossed and he, like, got Yules in midair. And Phobos caught from behind Avalanche. Not enough to stun him through the, to break the refraction down entirely. Nonetheless, another big win for Empire. Empire still has 2 tier 1s standing, man. Like, that's the situation. That's how well they're doing. And not to say anything bad about Pulver, they have 1 still up in all of their tier 3 or tier 2s. But they are just in such control of this, and this Tiny is not going to be slowed down anytime soon.
Yeah, and while I like the BKB on Razor, and I think it's necessary, the only scary thing is that he's going to burst through these charges so fast. I've talked about this before in casts prior, that when it comes down to 5 seconds, he's just going to feel very useless in fights.
Yeah.
Because that 5-second duration is not long enough at all. It's long enough to dodge an initial jump of Titan or Ravage, maybe, and then after that you just have to run away, and then you can't fight in the fight anymore. So Silent, he's going to bump right into FNG. Oh, nice path. That's a little bit off the mark. Nice TP from FNG. But they didn't have oh no, they did have relocate actually ready to go.
Nonetheless, bit of a missed opportunity, but still very much Empire's game to win at this point. We're just 20 minutes in, but they're already 10k ahead, so you're talking 500 gold per minute lead generated since the game got underway. And Resolution's going Assault Cuirass, and he's almost got the damn thing. He's already got his plate mail and the Hyperstone. If you're Polar, what's the plan, man? I mean, this, you know, again, I feel like their team can go late, but not many as well as Empire. No FNG Copper Dot. Illidan's going to land in. There's the BKB. He's there along with Phobos, but this is being kited out very well. Resolution, tough to track down. Mag actually gets craggied and finally catches him from behind, but that craggy actually may have just saved him. And behind that, Yoki's still being pursued, but yeah, Phobos just has nothing again. Macro Fire, Ice Path, hello. A lot of magic damage in a hurry, and silence out.
Back in too. Right onto the Razor! Oh my God.
Man! Brutality, and Polar's gonna give up another. 3 down. This is a rout. Everything Empire seems to be doing seems to be working, and working well. 24-11, another tower down. And I said this last time, and I'll say it again. If there's one team in this tournament, in any tournament as a matter of fact, that is not scared of going high ground early, but does not believe in playing passive, it's these guys. They take a win, they're going to take high ground. They're going to take a tier 3 at bare minimum.
This player is actually not too bad on this hero. Like, Aloha has been playing very well. Those are really nice, quick relocate, anticipating the Chronosphere from Void. I almost venture to say that he probably didn't even need it just if he got another craggy exterior proc. And even if he doesn't, he has sufficient armor with the level 4 craggy, and then actually with the Ellie sitting at about 21 armor. So he's pretty damn tanky. Like, Void does no damage right now. It's very negligible. And like I said, with the BKB down after the initial go of the team fight, Razor, oh my God. They relocated him out defensively, but then they came back in right on top of the Razor. I don't know if he forgot or anything, but he was standing right on top of the relocate spot and just got bursted the F up. And yeah, to answer your question earlier, how did VP Polar get back into this? Well, one, they probably don't, but if they did, I think it sounds funny, but I think it has to be the Ags on the Witch Doctor. I know it's crazy to say that, but
it makes sense.
I think they actually have to get an Ags on the Witch Doctor in order to actually have the damage output in these fights.
Well, he's working on it, but having 2,600 net worth is usually does not bode well for your chance to actually get a scepter. He's got a quarter of it, at least for the moment. And the problem he faces, though, is they have so many ways to knock him out of the channel. You got Avalanche, you've got Ravage, you've got Ice Path, and Resolution won't get caught here. And Ice Path from Silent, he's going to use one. Look at the Craggy.
Yep.
He just got Craggy like 3 times in a row. There's going to be an Ice Path, Macro Fire. Now they're going to turn it around with a Ravage. Empire takes what looked to be a sure thing and makes it a painful, regrettable moment for Polar. Triple kill for Resolution. Yoki's gonna make it.
Yeah? Yeah, there you go.
Okay. So that way we can at least get the in-game screen. This is a flashback to the glory days of Empire, like you were talking about. I'm trying to remember. To me, the quintessential Empire team will always, always, always be that Empire squad that was Gold Black, Funnick, and a couple of others. Like, to me, that was always the Empire that I remember, that was just so dominant. Didn't lose, like, if I'm not misremembering.